am Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, your host. And of course, my mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Well, tonight I am excited to bring to you my next guest, who is Miss Stephanie Hopkins. And the topic for tonight is going to be inheritance isn't automatic. But first, let me give you just a little bit of background on Stephanie. Stephanie Hopkins is the CEO and founder of Black Wall Street Title LLC and Embracing Life Development Incorporation. Stephanie leads the first minority owned title agency specializing in land and residential heirs property rights. With over 20 years of experience spanning various sectors of the insurance industry and a bachelor's in healthcare administration, she now focuses on empowering the Black, Indigenous, people of color community through property, financial literacy, education. Her mission is to disrupt generational poverty, preserve affordable housing, and to cultivate stable communities while creating lasting social impact. She is a best-selling Amazon author, featured in Money Talks, Uncut, Conventional with Financial Experts, and highlighted in Bold Journey magazine. Stephanie is a sought after community educator. She shares her expertise on or through, I should say, several channels to prevent generational wealth leakage, strengthen family relationships, and secure the financial futures of families. I'd like to bring on to the show tonight Miss Stephanie Hopkins.
Hello.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing very well. It's great to have you on the show so we could talk a little bit about the inheritance and the fact that, it's not automatic. But before we get started with all of that, I always give the standard bio on my guests. But then I like to ask my guests, just tell us what you want us to know about Stephanie Hopkins.
Well, Stephanie is very kind, genuine, straightforward,
Mhm.
truthful, wants the best for everyone, and I am a protector.
Okay, well, that those are all good qualities, and especially with the industry that you're in, that's great. So, tell me, what inspired you to start Black Wall Street Title LLC and focus on the area of land and residential heirs property rights? That's a that's a huge undertaking.
Yes, ma'am. So, Black Wall Street, my journey with that started with the discovery of my purpose.
Hmm.
And my purpose was prompted uh, by my fight with COVID, with pneumonia. So while I was in the hospital with that, I had three kids home, one with a congenital life threatening disorder.
Hmm.
And I said, Lord, you know, they're not ready for me to leave here. Um, and if you would allow for me to live, what is
Hmm.
it that you want me to do? I
Gotcha.
will do it.
Wow.
And yeah, and so from there,
Hmm.
fast forward, I met a title agent, and she had a title agency.
Hmm.
And she said, you know what? You'll be good at being a title agent, and I will sponsor you. So she paid for the whole package for
Hmm.
me to become a title agent. I did that. I worked under her. She specialized in land only, she did no residential.
Hmm.
And from there, I noticed the problem that I think God wanted me to see.
Hmm.
With vacant land, with any property, but mainly vacant, I saw a lot of sales not go through.
Okay.
And I said, well, what is this? So I would get little alerts and it would say, well, this person needs probate. And I said, wow. And it was constant. So I said, this is what he wanted me to see. He wanted me to see the problem with heirs' property. And people were trying to sell their property. I spoke to one seller, and it was because she needed to take care of some bills that she had, and she couldn't do it because the land was not in her name. And there's so many stories I could tell you on that, but that I think is my purpose after that is to, once I saw that and saw the tangled title issue, that I was to tackle that issue.
Now, I noticed you said that this was something that you saw, and a lot of there was vacant land, but people weren't able to get it because it wasn't when they, I guess, applied for to get this land. It wasn't going through. So was it mostly, so do you work with mostly people of color? Is that where you were seeing the disparity, or is it just all across the board?
Well, it was across the board initially, right? And I started doing research and noticed that it was predominantly in the BIPOC community. And the reason for that is historical, due to systematic policies in place and due to the BIPOC community not having good relationships, of course, with attorneys or whatnot, and funds. They could not properly transfer the property from their loved ones to themselves.
Okay.
You need to have proper documentation. And back in the day, you used to just say, hey, I want you to have this, I want you to have that. But that is no more. Probate is not new. It is over 4,000 years old. It has been used by the Romans. So I wanted to shed light on this issue because it is causing or wreaking havoc in the BIPOC community.
Wow. Now, just to be clear, just to let everyone know, when you say BIPOC, you're talking about the Black, Indigenous people of color. So you're
Absolutely.
just using it as an acronym. I just want to let our viewing audience know that is what you're referring to. So tell me again, who do you specifically help with your services? I mean, do you see more women that you have to help, or is it more men, or older, younger? What specific group do you help with your services?
So mainly I help the personal representatives of estates, families, realtors, beneficiaries, attorneys. So those are the people that I normally help. This issue too, as you mentioned, is more prevalent in the elderly arena because, again, we are in the baby boomer time, the 40s, 50s, and 60s,
right,
where things were not in writing. So when I speak to the public about the importance of estate planning, I will get several elderly people that say, Stephanie, you have great information. I want to get an estate plan done, but I don't think my children would understand, or I don't have the funds for it.
So is there the land that you're coming across, are you seeing that there's a lot of like vacant land out there that just sitting there with no one claiming it? Is that kind of what's going on? Or is it land that's there and maybe the state or the government is taking it over because no one else is, like you said, some don't know what to do or how to handle it. So what's happening to this land?
So these lands have owners, but they own it incorrectly. They own it without the proper documentation. So what happens is they have to go through probate.
Okay.
Probate is kind of expensive.
Hmm.
So right now in the state of Florida, the average home is about $409,200. Probate is done based off the amount of the asset, right? So
Okay.
if you're doing the probate, then you also need to do an estate plan to ensure that the money that you're putting into probate, that that property is secure, all of assets, but we're only going to talk about a house.
Hmm.
That can run a family, an average family, between $16,000 to $20,000.
Mm. Wow. Now this you talk about probate. Now I've heard people talk about, putting the property and different things into a trust. Is that also something that they should consider that might help them not to lose this land, or um, those are not vehicles that you kind of deal with when it comes to helping them to make sure they have all the paperwork that they need in place?
So a trust is an estate plan vehicle, just
Okay.
as well as a will, and along with other documents, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is at the dynamics of that family what would be appropriate for them.
Hmm. Okay. And I asked that question because sometimes you hear so many, things about the difference between the will and the trust. And some say it's better to get have to make sure you have a will, but some say it's better to have a trust, especially when it comes to property. When you have property that you want to make sure that your heirs inherit, that you should make sure that you have like a trust, so that all of this stuff can be in there, and that way it doesn't have to go through, I guess, if I'm saying this correctly, or if I understand it correctly, it does not have to go through government process. Then it's like a smooth transition. Should something has happened to you, then if all of that's in place, like the trust or what have you, then they just look at that, and you have, okay, I want baby Jane to get this land, whatever, and baby Jane would get that land without having to go through a whole bunch of issues, in other words.
Yes, and I'm gonna just give this disclosure. I'm not an attorney, but I will tell you this.
Hmm.
Um, I do agree. Yes, a trust will bypass probate.
Okay. Okay. And that's what I thought I remembered or I had heard, but I wasn't sure that if you had a trust, if you still had to go through probate. So probate would only happen if you don't have any of these vehicles in place. Is that correct?
Well, you can have it in place, but
Hmm.
it would just be a smoother process.
Through the process. Okay.
Mhm.
Sound okay, got it now. Because I
Yeah.
tell you, like I said, you hear so much about it. Each one of them, a will, the trust, and people tell you put everything in the trust, and some have turned it into sort of a business, getting people to do that. So that's why I guess it gets a little confusing
It
when
does.
yeah, when you have to think about which one of these would be better, or what should I do? If I have a if I'm a like the head of the family, the matriarch or whatever, how do I put all of this? Where do I put all of this to make sure everybody that I want to get a piece of what I have to leave to them will get it without there being a problem? So yeah.
Absolutely. And just think of estate planning as a working document. It grows with you. It's
Mhm.
not set in stone. So let's say you have an 18-year-old, they have a bank account.
Mhm.
Would they need a trust or would they need a will? That's what I mean by the family dynamic. So
Okay.
as they grow and their family grows, then they
Yeah.
can look at other avenues for
Mhm.
protection.
Gotcha.
So, mhm.
Wow. So tell us about I know you also have another company, Embracing Life Development Incorporation. What is the function of this company and how is that um does it kind of coincide with the Black Wall Street Title LLC also, or are they separate?
It does. It is a charity arm to Black Wall Street.
Mhm.
This came about because of my mom,
Mhm.
and it's in remembrance to her.
Okay.
When I was 16 years old, she started talking to me about this big open secret of estate planning. But at that point, she called it affairs, right?
Okay.
That's the word they use for their areas. Stephanie helped me get my affairs in order.
Mhm.
And when I did that, I didn't realize how powerful it was at that time. She was grooming me to be a protector. I had a younger sister at the time. I'm 13 years her senior.
Mhm.
And my father was dyslexic and did not read well. So I had two older siblings. And my mom said, you know what? You are going to be the one to handle my affairs. So at 16, she started grooming me. And when she passed away early at 56,
Mhm.
uh, I was able to stand on her word and honor her wishes
Mhm.
because I saw what it took for her to build her kingdom. She was a young mom. My dad is 10 years her senior, and I grew with her. So I got to see all of her pain and struggles all the way to purchasing a home. It was not easy for her. She purchased a home in the 80s.
Mhm.
And I wanted to make sure I honored that and wanted to share what she taught me with others. So that's where Embracing Life came from.
Okay. So when you help individuals to to I guess sort out things, what give us an example of what you might have to do with them.
So I have a team of attorneys,
Mhm.
and they handle all of the legalities for our clients. We just make sure that they're able to secure their generational wealth. So
Mhm.
it would either be free or at a reduced cost for the estate planning services and for the probate assistance.
Mhm.
Because what's happening, Dr. Lewis, is that 77% of African Americans, 82% of Hispanics do not have a will.
Yeah.
According to statistics, by 2053, African Americans' wealth may dwindle to zero.
Mm.
So I'm trying to help rebuild the middle class by providing this service. As you well know, African Americans are the biggest consumer, over $1 trillion. But the thing is, we're not protecting it.
Mhm.
We're accumulating it, but we're not protecting it. And when you do not protect it, it disappears.
Okay.
And then the family has to start at zero, building their own wealth. I just had my friend chuckling just a moment ago, and I told her, I said, you know, there's this song out there that says, I don't know anything about old money, but I know about this new money.
Mhm.
And I said, we need to know about this old money, which is legacy money, as
Mhm.
well as the new.
Right.
There's no need for us to start at zero every generation.
Right. Absolutely. Wow. So, how does the two companies, Embracing Life Development, when you talk about it, they both work together. How do they create a social impact in the communities? How do you manage to do that?
So, Black Wall Street addresses um, the brings awareness, right, to the problem, and Embracing Life brings the solution.
Okay.
So we bring the awareness of heirs property issues to the community, and then Embracing Life is the solution awareness to the issue.
Hmm. Now, can you or do you work with individuals, say, all across the country? Are you just in a certain area that you focus on?
Our goal is to be global, yes.
Hmm.
But right now, I am from Tampa, Florida, born and raised.
Hmm.
So, no better place to start than in Florida. I've
Okay.
gone to several different counties. I have pending MOUs, which is Memorandum of Understandings,
Uh-huh.
with several counties because they're interested in what I have to offer and what it will do for families and counties is
Hmm.
that it will help with the revitalization, right? A
Hmm.
lot of families, because the property, be it vacant land or uh, residential,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Mainly residential, cannot qualify to have their home for the revitalization program that the city and county provides, so they can bring the house back up to standard and to value for the community. And what also happens too is we had this big storm here in Florida,
Hmm.
FEMA. People don't realize that you have to show documents that you're the owner
Of the property.
of
Yeah.
the property in order to qualify to have your the home restored or to
Hmm.
qualify any type of insurance. So there's a lot wrapped around ownership and this heirs property, which
Hmm.
creates a tangled title.
Wow. So, what would be some of the typical costs that would be involved in helping a family to secure their property rights? And if you were looking for donors to contribute to support this kind of work, what would be a typical ask from them?
So the typical ask right now, as I stated, is about whatever they can donate at this point because we're still fairly new and we're being challenged with the funds because we are new and we cannot meet the qualifications for some of these RFPs. Um, and for some of the charities, right? They want you to be in your nonprofit for 2 years or to be have five contributors,
Hmm.
things of that nature. So we're starting with friends, family, independent, until we're able to get to those qualifications that are needed. We partner with other nonprofits to be able to get to that point where we can really help our community and globally.
Hmm. Okay. So, tell us or explain to us the concept of property financial literacy, because we've heard about financial literacy, but now that you have that property financial literacy in front of us, tell us what that is. Explain to us what that is and why it's crucial for underserved communities.
So, property financial literacy is for homeowners who have their home but don't understand that there is visible money, right? There's money in that house.
Hmm.
The money in the house is called home equity.
Right.
So we need documentation in order for that money to transfer over to their family when they pass away.
Mhm.
So that's where we talk about the property financial literacy
Okay.
and talk about what else can be done with that equity to, even when they are alive, that what they can do to create additional funds for themselves and for their families.
Wow. So, the property financial literacy part of it, do you all do any type of training to help people understand that, or you just, go in and work with them on it, um, just to get them through it? Or do you have like a maybe some type of program where they can go through if they want to understand what they need to do and be able to do it on their own? And like you said, to be able to continue to do it as the growth in their family takes place.
Absolutely. So we work with a handful of realtors
Mhm.
that teach this course to the community as well.
Okay. Okay. So, what role does affordable housing preservation play in your mission?
So every generation has its own trials and tribulations. And right now, for this generation, it is affordable housing. So if we can have more families create estate plans,
Mhm.
then we can preserve those homes.
Okay.
So that will help in the shortage of affordable housing.
Mhm. So are you looking to do that with some of the land that some of the land that might be vacant out there? Is that what you're looking to with some of that make turn it into affordable housing?
Absolutely. So when we have land donated to us,
Mhm.
that is the goal, is to build affordable housing on it. And then
Mhm.
the homes that are currently standing, that are in the moments for the changing of the guards, we want to preserve those for those families. Because
Mhm.
what is happening is the younger generation don't understand what they have, right? That
Mhm.
is a gold mine. A home is the wealth multiplier. 90% of wealth is built through real estate. And they know that they have a problem, but they don't know how to solve it. So,
Mhm.
for instance, grandma passes away. That's the house that they grew up in. The house is paid for,
Mhm.
and they're like, well, I can't do anything with it because I don't own it, right? Maybe they saw the cost, right? Maybe about 16,000 to probate or whatever. And then they just let it go. They let it go to an investor who can afford it, right?
Mhm.
And they take all the equity. That person made a permanent decision off of a temporary circumstance and lost it all.
Mhm.
And that occurs too. So we're trying to catch individuals in that manner as well. We have all these little safety nets out there that we're trying to do to educate the community,
Mhm.
and to be able to also provide them with the services through Embracing Life to help them preserve and understand what they have. Because with all things, you gain an understanding, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I want them to understand the laws of the land. Everything that we touch has some type of law or policy behind it.
Right.
Probate is one of the ones that is a secret,
Mhm.
right? And silence is expensive, as we can see, and in the BIPOC community. So I am trying to amplify this issue, bring awareness to it,
Mhm.
and be a change agent and rebuild the middle class, affordable housing, and to cultivate our communities again.
Mhm. So, are you getting a lot of backing from, your state in this, or do you need the backing of the state, or you're pretty much putting everything together on your own, or are you trying to look into resources that you could get from the government or your state or what have you to help these things along?
Absolutely. So, yes, we are looking into resources. There's actually an RFP that came out that we could have potentially applied for. But again, we did not meet the qualifications.
Mhm.
we could help with the slumming of the houses in our community, right? Alleviate all of those things through our program. But again, we did not meet the benchmark to go over that.
Mhm.
But I started this just with the grace of God and my skill set. I used my history as an asset,
Mhm.
along with my friends and family to back me. But it's gotten bigger than that. So I do need other resources to bring this to full fruition so
Mhm.
we can really make an impact in the community. Right now, for 2025, we're aiming to help 100 families.
Mm. Okay.
So again, if we use the $409,000 price tag, if we helped 100 families, 75 with estate planning, 25 with probate assistance, we could save the generation of about $10 million.
Okay.
That's huge
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
bring back into the community and show them how to invest it and make it work for them
Mhm.
so they don't have to start at zero.
Now, do you find that there's a lot of I heard you say that that you tried to apply for one of the RFPs, requests for what is that, requests for projects, right? Am I
That is a request for
Yes,
proposals.
proposal? Okay. And do you find that there's a lot of um maybe properties there in Florida that can be turned into affordable housing that maybe have been sitting for a long period of time and nothing's being done? Have you seen that a lot there?
Yes, because what happens is, as we stated before, right? If you
Mhm.
don't take care of it, it will disappear. And what happens is it goes back to that city, and cities have land banks, and counties have land banks.
Mhm.
So if you don't put anything in writing, then your government could potentially be the heir to your property.
Right, right.
Um, yeah. So and then statute 729
Mhm.
becomes your will, which is, a person not having a will. So there's a lot of reverting back to the government.
Mhm.
And I don't think people realize that either. I don't know where they think it goes, but it reverts back. So let's say, for instance, you abandon a home, right?
Mhm.
You could not afford the probate or whatnot. You walk away. They
Mhm.
tear it down. They will put a lien on the property for the demolition. So it just keeps piling up.
Right.
And I see that people work so hard, have gone through so much, and even put in sweat equity, not just always monetarily, into building these homes. So
Mhm.
I want to make sure that they protect it.
Right.
So if I could get help from, the government and any other entity that is willing to support this mission and this initiative, very, very important initiative, because it is a game changer for the economics of the world, period.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, are you a real estate do you have your real estate license too, or most of your expertise is in, helping with the um, property financial literacy?
No, I'm not a realtor. I just hold my license as a title agent in the state of Florida.
Okay. So, um, title agents, is that making sure that when the property the title to the property, is that what it is? That when you say title, that's the title to the property can be transferred over to where it needs to go. Is that
Absolutely. So title agents, we're behind the scene. I'm a I'm an introvert, so I like being behind the scene. So
Okay.
it's suitable for me. So we're behind the scenes. So think of us as historians, right? We're
Gotcha.
looking at the property to ensure that it can pass from the seller to the buyer
Hmm.
with no claims, no encumbrances.
Yeah.
And if it's a new home and it's mortgage, that the buyer receives the home with no claims, no mortgage. I'm sorry, no claims and no encumbrances, and the mortgage company would have first place in lien.
Right. Right.
So that's what title does. We're like the historians of the land,
So
right?
you do all the title searches to make sure there's nothing, like you say, no liens or anything. Sort of like when you go to buy a property, they do the title search. Yeah, we all have gone through that. So you're
Right.
that's behind that.
Yeah. So think of it even like this. It's
Hmm.
like a credit report for your house.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So they check everything under every little rock to make sure there are no liens or anything like that that's on it. I get it. Yeah. But
Mhm.
okay. Yeah. Like I said, we've all been through it. If you purchased a house or dealt with property in any fashion, you've had to go through that. So tell me, what is it? Do you have a staff of people that help you to do this, or is it mostly you and you just outsource a lot of what you do? I know you said you have to get realtors and different things like that. So is most of what you do outsourcing, or do you have a team of people that also help you do the title search?
Yes, I have a team of people that help me with the title search.
Mhm.
But as I stated, as you said, I have realtors that help with the financial, literacy aspect of it, and I have attorneys that help with the estate planning and probate process of it. So
Mhm.
I delegate a lot too.
Okay. Okay. So, what would you say to our listeners who want to start building generational wealth through property ownership? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to protect it,
Hmm.
that their home is a wealth multiplier, that it is more than just a shelter, a place where you live. It is more than an address.
Hmm.
Housing is the foundation. And if they have children, it really affects the children academically.
Hmm.
One eviction, one foreclosure will affect that child for life. And there's facts behind that as well. So, everyone doesn't get that opportunity for the American dream. And if you are one of those ones that is, then you need to protect it at all cost.
Hmm.
And that your family needs to be able to thrive without you being here.
Hmm. Absolutely. Um, so tell us, what's next? Anything you got coming up? Anything on the horizon that you'd like us to know about? Maybe any, you know, properties out there, land out there that you think people should go and maybe take a look at and see if they might maybe they are interested in getting it or anything like that.
Well, the only thing that's new on the horizon as well is that we will have a social enterprise um, connection with the estate plan, with the Embracing Life. So it will help sustain not just from charity donations, but also it will have items that it will sell as
Mhm,
well.
mhm,
Uh, if we ever come across any land, of course, we would definitely sell it,
mhm,
and the proceeds would feed back into the nonprofit so we can help the next one, the
mhm.
next family to preserve their future.
Wow. Wow. So, if you had to leave our audience, say, with one piece of advice, one piece of valuable information that you thought would help them if they're trying to do something about, or maybe they're interested in figuring out how to um, kind of maneuver their, family inheritance, or take care of it, or do make some changes, or what have you. What would you say to them? What would that advice be?
That advice would be have a conversation with your family now.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like grieving and trying to figure out the complexity
Mm-hmm.
of probate. Ask now, have that conversation now. So that's one thing I do and did appreciate with my mom, is that we
Mm-hmm.
had the conversation while she was still living.
Mm-hmm.
I could ask her any question that I wanted to. Why are you doing this? Why do you want it this way? This, that, and the third. And she was able to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
So when she passed, I didn't have an issue. I was happy for her because she no longer had to suffer on this earth. I did
Right.
not grieve because of the mess that was left behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So have that conversation now. Pick a good time, not around the holidays, of course.
Right. Right.
But yes, give your family the chance to
Mm-hmm.
ask those questions. It's nothing worse than, you know, they're grieving at your grave, asking you questions and it can't be answered.
Be answered. Like, where is everything? Who's getting this or who's getting that? And I mean, and you really don't want them fighting over everything, after you're gone. And that happens a lot. We've
Yes,
all
ma'am. That's
encountered that, because everybody wants the peace, but then they don't want this person here if they feel like this one shouldn't get this. And so you want to make sure that everything is laid out and it's clear, it's concise, there's no confusion.
That's
So
right. Preserve your family. Absolutely. It's
yeah.
not just about the land. Preserve your family. Your family will go through this self segregation
Hmm. Hmm.
immediately when you when you close your eyes at times. But
Yeah,
again, that's all systematic.
you
So we
think.
need to change that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like, I mean, you hate to say it, but it kind of, like you say, once you close your eyes, it takes on a different meaning for the family, because if they know that you've got stuff, property, you've got, all this things that you got, and they're gonna want it. And so, you have to make sure that it's if it's a large family or if it's a small family, that everything is laid out so that they'll know who is going to get what, and you don't have to worry about all that infighting in the family, because
Absolutely.
yeah, the family should, go with your wishes that have been left. And if it's in writing and it's legally done, then there's nothing they could do about it anyway, for the most part. Yeah.
Right.
So
And one other thing too that I just thought about
mhm.
is, if you go through probate, that's not the time to have family therapy because I'm not signing this, I'm not signing that. I had that even at closings,
Okay.
probate closings.
Mhm.
And what it does, it eats up the time, your money,
Mhm.
right? Whatever
Right.
money that could have been, because there's division. Um,
Mhm.
a kingdom divided will not stand.
No, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. So tell us, how can the viewers reach out to you if they just like to get some, maybe some information to get them started? If they're not in your area, maybe they have a question they might want to ask you. Hey, hey, what do you think would be the best place for me to start to do this? With what we're doing, how my family's set up right now. If they needed to reach out to you, how could they do that?
Yep, they can visit me at www.stephanie-hopkins.com and fill out the Contact Us sheet. I also have a waiting list. It's called Legacy by Design on that site. So if you're interested in receiving potentially free or reduced estate planning and you're in the state of Florida at this time, I'm working on actually going into Texas. I've been invited there, so I'm working on that. Yep. So just go there and fill that out. You can also go to Embracing Life to learn more about the nonprofit. So, and that is Embracing Life, and life spelled with a Y, LYFE, developmentinc.org.
Okay. Okay. Well, if there's anything else that you'd like to let us know before you go, unfortunately, you've given us some good information, and it seems like the time is just gone by so fast because we're almost at the end of the episode right now. So if there's anything else that you think you might want to share with us before we go, feel free to do so. We'd love to hear anything, or if you just want to give us your information one more time to make sure the viewers got it, go ahead and do so.
Yeah, so I would just like to close with this question for the viewers. So if I were to give your heart the microphone today, what would it say to your future generation?
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. Appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to us about the inheritance and letting everybody know that it's not automatic. There are some things that they need to do to make sure that everything is set and in place. And as we said, that they can avoid infighting in the family with, those not happy with maybe what they got or didn't get, whatever the case may be. So thank you so much for coming and sharing that information with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Well, now I am just going to give the viewers some information on some upcoming things that I will be doing, and announcements. And since our last broadcast, I just want to let you know, I'm excited to let you know that because I know I haven't been live for a little bit. So since the last time we were live on this broadcast, I was the recipient of the 2024 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. So I just had to share that because I'm very excited that I was able to receive such a prestigious award. So thank you. And yes, I'm tooting my own horn. Kudos to me. And also, if you missed the Show Up to Rise Up 2.0 virtual summit in September, don't worry, you can get the VIP access to all the speakers. To do so, contact me to find out how you can gain access, and I will let you know. I'm also thrilled to announce that my new book, Show Up to Rise Up, which is also now a bestseller on Amazon, Show Up to Rise Up, Explore the Transformative Power of a Positive Mindset. It received the bestseller status on Amazon in Women and Business. It is now available for purchase. So if you're ready to embrace change and to start living your best life, now's the time. And this book will show you the way. And it's available now on Amazon. So make sure to go to Amazon and get your copy. To do so, you can put my name in the search box, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, and the book will come right up for you. If you have not viewed my TEDx talk that I did in Vancouver, Canada in December of 2021, I'd like you to make sure to do so. The topic is Show Up to Rise Up. You can watch it on YouTube. Again, just put my name in the search box or send me an email to info@exwsi.com and I will send you the direct link. But make sure to check it out because it is still moving out there. It is still gaining momentum. I'm excited because as of today, it has 204,877 views. So I want to thank all of you in advance for your support and continuing to share, to like, and commenting on my TEDx talk video. I am also a contributing writer to the Own It magazine, where I share nuggets and resources every month. Own It magazine is a resource for personal, professional, and business development. So make sure you get your free subscription. Yes, I said free. And to do so, again, you can contact me at madeline@exwsi.com for details, and I'll let you know how you can get your free subscription. So again, I want to thank my guest, Ms. Stephanie Hopkins, for bringing us such great information. I want to thank my viewers and my listeners for joining me today. This is the Successful Women Show, and I am Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can email me at info@exwsi.com or go to my website, www.exwsi.com. And while you're there, make sure you download my free 3-part video series on 3 things every woman should do to position herself for executive leadership. I would also like you to sign up for my online course, which is Crack the Career Code: How to Lead with Confidence, Charisma, and Credibility. To sign up for the course, go to www.crackthecareercode.com. You can also reach out to me on all of the social media platforms. I am easy to reach. Just DM me on any of them. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, to YouTube, and to the Pod TV. Also, like and share this episode with others. We got some great information tonight on inheriting property, making sure that it's done right and in order. Again, this is the Success for Women Show. We are here on Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am your host, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, helping women to accelerate the path to success. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you again to my guest, Ms. Stephanie Hopkins. I just want to say I love you all to life. So be well and stay safe out there. Thank you so much. Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America, and my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million plus women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success.